Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to sit down and film my monthly favorites from the month of April. As you guys know, if you've been watching my channel throughout this month, I've been doing a full month of nothing new. So I have a lot of things in here that are kind of rediscovered old favorites. I've been loving dipping into my collection, really digging into the back of my drawers and finding some things that I had totally forgotten about. I do have a couple of things in here though that are newish to me as well. So I hope that you guys are excited about this one. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and then we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Let's start off with some base products. So the very first thing that I want to share with you guys is something that is relatively new to my collection. I picked this up right at the end of March, I think, and I got a free sample of this back in February. Ended up picking up the full size. It is the Garnier Glow Boost Illuminating Moisturizer. I feel like I've talked about this in the last 4 or 5 videos that I've done, but I absolutely am loving this product. I've mentioned this before, but this reminds me a lot of how the Smashbox Primerizer feels on my skin as far as the way that it moisturizes my skin. It makes my skin feel very soft. It's very rich feeling, but it's also very lightweight. But this happens to have the added benefit of adding a luminous glow as well. It has just a little bit of luminosity to it that is just so beautiful looking. It's not anything overly intense. It's not nearly as intense as, say, the Physicians Formula Spotlight Primer. That thing's pretty intense and pretty glowy. This gives a very soft glow to your skin. I will use this sort of as a second moisturizer. Usually when I sit down to do my makeup, it will be a couple hours after I've already washed and moisturized my skin. So I'll put this on as just kind of a second moisturizer to add a little bit of glow and to really just re-soften my skin right before I put foundation on. And I love the way this works under every foundation I've tried so far, especially a light to medium coverage foundation. It maintains that really healthy glow. I picked this up at Walmart. I want to say it was between $7 and $10, but I really only need about a pea-sized amount of this each time I use it, and this does have 2 ounces in it, so I feel like it will last me for a while. Really love this. It's one of my favorite products from this last month. Moving on to a rediscovered favorite of mine. It is a foundation. It's one that I've had in my collection and repurchased actually for years now. It's the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation. I love this foundation so much. I have actually not used it for a while because I've been trying so many foundations out. Don't get me wrong, I still have really been enjoying some of my old favorite foundations. I've still been loving the L'Oreal foundation as well as my Flower Beauty foundation, my It Cosmetics CC cream. I've been really enjoying those throughout this last month as well. But it had been a while since I'd used this one. I pulled it out again this month and I just love this. It's such a good full coverage foundation. I'm not usually one that likes full coverage foundations, but this one feels really nice on my skin. It is thicker, but it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and it gives full coverage, but again, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. I like the way that it wears. It lasts all day long. I have 2 shades here. I have the shade 01 Creamy Vanilla that is kind of my wintertime shade. This one is a little bit yellow on me, but I can make it work. And then in the summer, I love the shade 03 Light Beige. So lately, I've actually been mixing these 2 shades together as my skin is a little bit tanner, and I've been self-tanning a little bit. So if you like a medium to full coverage foundation, but you're very sensitive to foundations feeling too heavy on your skin, I would recommend giving this one a try. Sticking with some face products, you guys might know that I've been really into cream products throughout this last month. And basically the only cream bronzer that I really own in my collection, but I've really been loving it, has been the Wet n Wild Contour Stick. This I would say is definitely a bronzer. It is not a contour. It's definitely not cool toned at all. I think this is quite warm toned, but that is okay with me. I much prefer using warm tones on my skin to kind of add shape to my face by adding warmth at the same time. I really like this product. I think it works really well. It's super easy to blend. It lasts pretty well on my skin, but I don't have enough experience with cream bronzers to say this is the best cream bronzer out there. In fact, at the very top of my wish list right now is the Milk Cream Bronzer. That thing is out of stock everywhere, and the second it comes back in stock, you have better believe that I will pick that thing up. But if you're on a budget or you're just wanting to try out cream bronzer, this is a great way to do it, because I think if you can still find this in your Walmart, you can pick this up for like $3 or $4, which I think is totally worth giving it a try. I've been enjoying this thing, using it very frequently throughout the last month, so I wanted to mention it for you guys. To go along with that cream contour or bronzer, I have to mention this brush. I love this brush for cream products. I've been loving it with that cream contour. I've been loving it with the cream blush that I've been trying out lately. This is the Moda Brush's complexion brush. This is a really nice foundation brush as well. I don't typically use it for that though, because it is smaller, so it just takes too long to apply my foundation with this. But it is so insanely soft and dense. This blends out cream product like a dream. I highly recommend this set. I know that I told you guys I'm an affiliate with Moda Brushes. I know that you can actually find this set at Walmart. I've seen it at my Walmart, so I would recommend even just going to Walmart and picking this set up, because I think it's a really good one. I love the brush that I mentioned last month, this bronzer brush, which ironically I have stopped using because I've been using cream products. But when I am using powder products, I love using this for bronzer or for blush as well. But if you're looking for something a little bit smaller that's super dense, this is such a good brush. I definitely recommend this one. The next thing I have to mention that I have absolutely been loving this month is a product that is probably the most talked about drugstore product over the last 5 years here on YouTube. I'm talking about the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is such a good bronzer. I know that I've said that before. I've talked about this bronzer a lot, but it definitely is one of the best bronzers in my collection. It's just so beautiful. If you like a bronzer that's not necessarily glowy but has the slightest hint of a sheen to it, this is one of the few bronzers that I use on my cheeks and it almost looks like a cream product to me because it maintains that sort of creamy look. It really kind of blends into your skin and looks so natural. Perfect amount of glow, the perfect color. This just warms your complexion up in the most beautiful way. If you haven't tried this thing out, I definitely recommend it. FYI, mine is in the shade Light Bronze. I'm actually interested in picking up the regular bronze shade because I think that might be a better match for me in the summertime. Next, I have a concealer that was kind of a forgotten about product that I rediscovered this month, and it is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. This is such a good concealer. I kind of had stopped using this several months back, but I was reminded this month of how great this concealer is. It's full coverage, but it's not too heavy and it's not drying on my under eye and it lasts all day long. It's just such a good one from the drugstore. By the way, this is on sale at Ulta right now. I want to say I saw them for about $4.50 right now, which is such an affordable price. Definitely recommend checking this out if you haven't. Mine is in the shade 20 Light Beige, but I know that they have a lot more shades online than they do in store. Moving on to a highlighter. This is another rediscovered favorite of mine, and it is the Wet n Wild highlighter in the color Precious Petals. This is such a good highlighter. I really love this formula. It's very, very intense. So I want to start off by saying that if you are into a very subtle highlight, you definitely will either want to use this very light-handed or pass over this altogether because it is quite intense. This thing is so affordable. You can get these for under $5 at any local drugstore. I love this color, especially in the spring and summertime when I'm starting to get just a little bit of color in my skin. Such a beautiful, natural looking color. If you are very fair, I think this will probably be too dark for you. It does have a bit of like a pink kind of gold undertone to it. But if you have a bit of a tan, this looks so beautiful on top of a hint of a tan. I absolutely love this thing. I'm excited to start reaching for it again. It's such a good, affordable highlighter from the drugstore. Moving on to some eye products. So if you've been watching my channel throughout this month, you will know that I've been doing a lot of looks and reviews using the Juvia's Place palettes that I have. So this might not be a surprise to you guys, but I had to include all 4 of these in my monthly favorites. I know that's a bit excessive, but I have been using and loving every single one of these palettes. These are the 4 that I have. I will again link that playlist below if you have not seen my Juvia's Place palette videos. I did a review on each of these palettes individually where I included 3 to 4 looks with each palette, kind of gave my review of them, did some swatches, talked about the formulas. I think their palettes are so fun to play with. They are such a great formula. They're easy to use. Their color stories are really interesting and kind of get you to think outside of the box, which I actually think is a good quality because it forces you to be a little bit more creative. Don't get me wrong, there are times that I love reaching into like an Anastasia Sultry palette because I feel like I don't have to think very much when I'm using that palette. I can pick any number of shades in my crease or any number of different shades on my lid and know that I'm going to come out with a really natural, neutral looking eyeshadow look. These palettes pushed me a little bit and I kind of like that they forced me to get a little bit creative. Today I'm wearing the Deuce palette on my eyes and this actually looks kind of like a purpley sort of smoky eye, which is surprising because if you look inside this palette, it's very much a pastel toned palette. For this look, I just took this color kind of all over the outer 2/3 of my lid up into my crease and transition area. Then I took this magenta color and just kind of buffed that on this outer V or outer C right there. Then I took this silver shade and just with my finger, I packed that all over my lid. Then I took the dark matte brown and just smoked that right along that outer corner, which is kind of what gave it the purple sort of shift. But I really love how this look turned out. It's actually quite different than the looks that I did from my review video on this palette, but I really think that you cannot go wrong with any Juvia's Place palette. Their formula is so amazing. I absolutely love it. One more eyeshadow I had to mention though this month. I reached for this about 3 times throughout this month, but it is one of my old favorites, so I wanted to mention it again because I was just reminded of how much I love this palette, and it is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I also have a video where I did 7 looks with this palette. It's actually one of my most popular videos. If you haven't seen that one yet, I will link it down below. But this is such a fun palette to play with. It's a colorful palette that leans a little bit more on the neutral side of color. I love the options you get in here. You have a lot of warmth in here, but you also have a couple of cooler colors that aren't over the top or intense. Very fun palette to play with. I think their whole idea behind creating one palette that you could take traveling and have pretty much any eyeshadow look you would ever could ever dream of. They did such a good job because that's exactly what I think this palette is perfect for. So I have one more eyeshadow palette that I've been actually thinking about mentioning for a couple of months now. I just think this is kind of weird to mention this in a favorites video, but truly, I am grateful that I have this. I use it on almost a daily basis, but not for what you might think. And it is the Morphe 350 palette. Here's the thing. I think this could be said with any Morphe palette. So I do think the Morphe eyeshadows are really good quality. My only beef with these palettes of theirs is the fact that I feel like the shades in here are so similar to each other. So basically you get 75% of the same shade in this palette. But what I use this palette for very, very often is I actually use this to cover my roots or to cover gray hair. I don't love admitting to the world that I have gray hair, but I'm 37. I got my first gray hair when I was like 23, so I have quite a bit of gray hair. And I'm still trying to fight nature and keep it covered, but I can't realistically cover my roots every 2 to 4 weeks. So something like this really helps to touch up spots where I have more concentrated gray hairs and just kind of touch up little gray hair areas. I know that might be an odd thing to use this for. I know that's a really weird favorite to have, but this has become exclusively my gray hair palette. I can use almost any one of these brown shades, not like the really warm ones, but any of these darker brown shades to help conceal my roots or get me through until my next touch-up appointment. So if you struggle with gray hair, like 75% of us over the age of 35, and you still have this in your collection, try using it for that, because I definitely think that's a good use for this palette that maybe some of you might not getting a lot of use out of. I have a very random favorite to mention next. I never in my life would have picked a product like this up on my own because one, it's probably very expensive. This came in BoxyCharm, so I don't actually know how much it is. I will list it right here. Two, it's kind of high maintenance, especially for a brow product, but I have absolutely been loving this lately. On days when I wanted to take a little bit more time with my brows and make them look a little bit more precise, this is the iconic London Sculpt and Boost Eyebrow Cushion. Yes, this is an eyebrow cushion. So you get this little kind of cushion pot right here. You have the two colors in here. Then you get this little retractable, it's like a switchblade applicator. Has a brush on one end and a tiny little spoolie on the other. But I'll just put a little bit of product on the tip of this brush right here and kind of flick little brush hairs where I feel like I'm missing some or things are a little bit sparse. It gives me a lot of precision. They look very, very realistic. I have it in my brows today and I think they look pretty good. They're a little bit darker than I typically like, which I think on camera you probably can't tell because everything's always a little bit more washed out on camera. Let me know if any of you guys have tried this out or a product similar to this. It's a very unique product, but I am very surprised I've been enjoying this as much as I have. Also for my brows, I want to mention this thing. I know I've mentioned this probably in a few videos before. It is the e.l.f. eyebrow pencil that I can never remember the name of this thing. What is my problem? This is just a clear brow wax. I love really pressing this into my brows and really building up a lot of waxy product in there and then brushing them out. I feel like they stay really, really well. They look nice and full. I absolutely love this thing. It's super affordable. I picked this up at my Walmart, but I haven't seen it there since, and I don't know how many places carry this specific product. But if you happen to be placing an order from e.l.f., I would throw this into your cart because for $2, I think that you cannot beat this product for $2. It really is great. We are nearing the end. I want to mention a lip gloss that I've been talking about like crazy throughout this last month, and I've talked about it before on my channel, but I'm going to talk about it again because I've been using this almost daily throughout this last month, and it is the NYX Butter Glosses. I did not realize I had so many of these, but I love all of these lip glosses. They are so fantastic. My very favorite one would have to be Creme Brulee because I think it's just the easiest to wear nude gloss. The perfect color goes with anything. I also really love Tiramisu. I have 2 of that one. And I really love the color Madeline. That's one I don't think a lot of people talk about. It's kind of, let me show it to you guys. It's kind of a brownish nude beige. It's so pretty. This looks so pretty on top of any lipstick or any lip liner. And lately I've been really loving these 2 right here. These are very, very bright sort of orangey pinks. I love putting these on top of Creme Brulee, just right in the center to add a little bit of color to my lips. This one right here is the color Peaches and Cream, and then this one here is Pink Buttercream. This one just has a little bit more pink to it, which I think is very ironic because this one is called Pink Buttercream. This one is called Peaches and Cream. I feel like those 2 names should be switched, but that doesn't really matter. These are both fantastic. All of these glosses are fantastic. If anyone ever asks me what one lip gloss would you recommend from the drugstore, this is always the one that I will recommend first. It's just, in my opinion, it's just the perfect gloss formula. Okay, the last couple things I have for you guys are actually some nail polishes. I have been on the lookout for a good alternative to kale polish. But for right now, I've been trying out some different nail polish, mostly just from the drugstore. I have a couple this month that I discovered that I absolutely love and very surprisingly loved. The first ones are these from the brand LA Colors. So I saw these at my Walmart. I actually was about to pick up a more expensive one. I want to say it was like an OPI or an Essie one because I wanted to try something neon out, but I just couldn't stomach spending $8 on a formula that I know doesn't last on me very well. So I figured I'd try these things out just so I could get the neon color without the big price tag. These were each $1.98, and I was very surprised that these lasted on my nails for a very, very long time, perhaps even longer than kale polish lasts on me. I put these on my nails on a Monday and I had them on Thursday, and they were not even starting to wear off on the tips of my nails, which is unheard of for me. I did also buy the top coat and use the top coat. I haven't tried them without the top coat, so it's possible this is what's making them last so long. But regardless, I think these are really fun for the nails. I wore this orangey color a few videos ago. I did have a few questions from you guys. This one is in the color Keepsake. It's kind of like a neon corally orange. And then today I'm wearing this one, which I think is a little obnoxiously loud. It doesn't look that bold on camera. This is very neon because I'm looking in my mirror. It's glowing neon pink. This one is in the color Never Ending, but I think it's super fun. I usually prefer a color like this on my toenails. I don't usually put something so bright and vivid on my nails, but I'm not gonna lie, I think it's kind of fun. It might clash with my makeup today, but I do think this is actually a really fun nail color. So one more I picked up from the drugstore is from Salon Perfect. This is in the color Pearly Pink. On your nails, it looks exactly like it does in the bottle. It's such a soft, pretty, spring pearly pink. I love this one. It's like a bubble gum, but because it's pearly, it looks a little bit more feminine, a little bit softer. Very fun color for springtime. All right, you guys, and that brings us to the end of my April favorites. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed my April full month of nothing new. Thank you so much for your kind words, your feedback throughout this month. I love all of your comments, all of your support. I appreciate it so much. I also want to say a big welcome to any of you that are new here to my channel. I know some of you recently have found me through Sarah Hubler's channel. I want to give a big thank you to Sarah for recommending me on her channel. Be sure to go check her out. I will link her channel down below. Please be sure to let me know in the comments below what things have you been loving throughout the month of April or throughout this spring. Also, if you guys have any videos that you would love to see from me, please let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your video recommendations. It's super helpful for me. I always want to film videos that you guys want to watch, so don't be afraid to let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I hope that you guys all have a great day, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye. Illuminosity? No, that's not a word. I definitely wanted to mention it. Stop saying definitely. Ugh. So I definitely had to mention it for you guys. I said it again. Dang it, Mandy. What's another word for definitely? Highly, strongly, enormously. Oh, you're in a hurry? Okay. What do you need? Do you need pants today? Pants and a belt, socks. Do you have a baseball hat? And your gear? The field or the gym? Okay, I'll leave right now. Okay. Love you. Bye. Every day at 2 o'clock. Gotta go to the school. Be right back.